Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over the books that I read in July, which I think it's about 7 with 1 DNF. Again, I read a little bit more than last month, but not really that much, so I decided to wrap in a little bit of an August TBR in here. You guys know I don't really do a TBR, but I do like to talk about kind of what I've started already or what I do plan to work on. So we are going to go over some of those things. That doesn't mean I'm actually going to get to them, but hopefully that means that's kind of like my little plans. But I'm really bad at making TBRs. You guys know that. So anyway, I feel like we should just get right into what I read in July. And like I said, I believe it's 7 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was almost 8, but I finished Bunny on August 1st. So I'm not going to count it. And also it's for a video. So I'm like, okay, that ends up working out because I don't want to tell you what I rated it yet because it's going to be in that video that's coming out. So we're just going to talk about the 7 that we read. And I have 1 DNF. I think it's for this month. I'm trying to remember if it's this month or last month, but it was in my like DNF section. I don't know if I talked about it. I think, did I talk about it? I don't know. We're going to talk about it now. If I talked about it already, I'm really sorry. So the only book that I DNF'd this month was The Floating World by Axio, which was crazy. You guys saw that I DNF'd it if you watched my reading all my book box books that come in a month. Again, worst title ever. Don't know what to call it. But this was a May book. Yeah, this was a May book. And it's probably one of my most anticipated books of the year. Like, I really, really enjoy Axio's books. I really did not like this one. This one was just generally incredibly boring. It had a very heavy plot line of traveling, and I never really end up liking that in a book. This falls, to me, more into cozy fantasy than anything else, and it's very rare for me to like cozy fantasy. Like, I would say almost try this if you really liked Teller of Small Fortunes, that one. I would almost try that with this one. Like, there's a little bit of action in here, but it's generally kind of almost solving this little mystery thing that's going on, but it's just nothing happened. Nothing happened in this book. I got so bored. I tried pushing through this. I even bought the Kindle edition of this to be like, okay, I'm doing it. And then I switched to the audiobook and I listened to the audiobook for a while and I realized I had no idea what was happening. So I did end up DNFing this one, sadly. I think like 150 pages in, like, I couldn't do it anymore though. But I was really trying because this book is so pretty and I really wanted to keep it and I really, really wanted to like it. So I'm really disappointed about this one. And that is shockingly the only thing that I DNF this month. But this month kind of was a rough reading month. Liking stuff wise, like I got to some stuff that I've been wanting to read, which was really cool, but I didn't love a lot of it, which is really disappointing. So first up, we have What Doesn't Break, and this is a Critical Role book, and I bought this because Cassandra Khaw is a favorite author, and I was really, really excited to read their book and their like rendition of this, but I'm not a Critical Role fan, so I wasn't originally gonna buy it, but then the like publisher was like, you do not have to know anything about Critical Role to read this because it's actually a prequel to this character, and so it's like its own standalone story, fantasy story that you can read. I am not rating this because I think the publisher and a little bit of Cassandra Khaw did this book a little dirty because I needed a connection to the character. Like, this to me was not a standalone. Like, I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff and I missed understanding the world. I just missed so much not knowing anything about this campaign. And I'm really sad about it because I think I would have really liked this if I was up to date on Critical Role stuff, but I am absolutely not. So I do plan to watch, because this I think is campaign 3, Bell's Hells. So I do plan to watch and listen to the 3rd campaign and then potentially revisit this. But if I were to give it a rating, it would be like a 2-star. And that does not feel right because I feel like that was a publisher error by trying to get people to pick it up and saying that you didn't need to actually know anything about it. So I'm very disappointed actually. And I did listen to it as well because it's the voice actors from Critical Role that are doing stuff. So I'm a little mad about that. I do think that was a little misleading, and you know how much I love when publishers mislead people. So anyway, not gonna rate it because it's not fair, but potentially we'll pick it up again later. Now moving on to books that I actually read, and as usual, we're gonna go in order of lowest to highest. We did not have any 1-stars, I think. I'm looking, I'm tempted to give this a 1-star, so I'm probably gonna talk about this one first. Is it the worst one? Because there's one more on here that I really didn't like, and I don't remember a lot of it because I didn't like it that much. So I'm really debating. They're really close. I think we're going to go with We Live Here Now. I really didn't like this. I had an ALC of this. Was not a fan of this book. This should have been really, really good, but it is following a couple that has all sorts of problems, and the wife was just in this big accident, and after the accident they move out to this big estate in the country for reasons that we don't understand yet, and it is told in alternating perspectives, and I hated the ending of this. It is a situation where everybody sucks, everybody suffers, there's nobody to root for, nothing to root for, and it is misery. Like, it is actually a miserable read, and I despised how this ended, because like I forgot how it ended for a second, and then it like popped in my head, and I was like, that's why you gave it a 2-star. This again is bordering a 1-star. I might have given this a 1-star. I'm gonna give it a 1.5 because there were aspects of it that I really enjoyed, and I think it just took the wrong direction. I think this is one of those situations where this book should have just leaned straight up into horror and been like a haunted house story instead of turning out to be like a domestic thriller, kind of. Like, that's what it turned out to be, even though it started off as like more horror. And it's very, very disappointing. So I would not recommend this one. I would definitely skip over it. And the ending, again, was not satisfying. And the other 2-star that is bordering on 1-star is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This, again, no one is more surprised than I am. This was really bad. I have yet to meet someone who really liked this one. I think a couple people in the comment section, I need to go back over them for book club. I think a couple people liked it, but generally it was incredibly unfavorable. Obviously hindsight is 2020, where it's like, maybe this wasn't the best pick for book club, but how was I supposed to know that? But man, this sucked. This sucked. I'm sorry if you like this one. I would fast forward a little bit. But yeah, I gave this a 2-star. This is following 3 kind of main characters, and they're all in different stages of life. They live at different time periods, and you're learning the story about how they intertwine and how these 3 women affect each other's lives. But it really is just like a bloody romp through history of women abusing other women. And I didn't enjoy reading that. And I get the importance of showing, like, that's a problem with media where for some reason lesbian relationships are shown as this like ray of sunshine, they're perfection, blah blah blah, but they're like every other couple. They have toxic situations and things that are happening that people don't talk about, and so it's important to show that. But every aspect of this book is women making other women suffer. It sucks. Like, it sucks. Like, it sucked reading. I did not want to read that level of abuse from women to other women, and it was really hard to read at some points because I was like, what is the point of this? Like, actually, what is the point of this? And I feel like there's enough abuse on women in other books and in real life that I was not expecting that. And this was also, again, this was like another publisher situation where it was like, oh, this is it used a very TikTok-y thing where it was like, this is a toxic female lesbian relationship through history. And it's like, okay, like that makes me think of like Magnolia Parks, like obviously not the lesbian situation, but that makes it seem like it's going to be 2 people who are obsessed with each other, but they're both doing things to hurt each other and etc. But this book showed not a toxic relationship, like it is abusive. Like, this is straight up torturous abuse at some points, and that's not a kitschy thing to market like that. Like, that's not, no, that's not cutesy, that's not fun. This was also, again, marketed incorrectly too. So I think if this was marketed as an exploration of abuse in relationships, potentially it would have gone over better. But also, this book just needed to be edited. Like, this is a situation of this didn't need to be the song. Like, this was a editor just let this author do whatever they wanted, and we're like, okay, it's good, and send it out into the world. this needed so much editing. There was so much that happened in this book that felt utterly pointless by the end of it, that it was so beyond frustrating to read, and I had major fatigue by page 300, and this book was 600 pages. Like, I was over it, I was done, but I refused to DNF it, another book club pick. So I did finish it, and I honestly regret it because it just got worse at the end. Like, I thought we finally had like a character to root for, and I feel like that was even taken away at the end. And that really sucks. So unfortunately, I really hated this one. The more I'm talking about it, the more it feels like a 1 star. But I am going to keep it at a 2 star for like, there were moments that I liked. It just kind of ripped all of those away at the end, unfortunately. Hated this. If you want to see spoilers, go check out the Lazy Book Club video for this. Next up, I think this is another 2. I'm trying to remember what I rated this. It's either a 2 or a 2.5. I finally read They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. Didn't like this one either. I'm really disappointed. I think the audiobook was really, really good. But again, this one didn't do anything that... The hype was so high for this one that I was so excited about it because it's like, again, it's women taking down predators. Love it. Love that idea. I just don't think it was super executed well. And I'm literally trying to remember what happened in this book. And I cannot remember what happened in this book. Like, I actively cannot remember what happened at the end of this one because I blocked it out, because either it was just really boring, which I did struggle with that, or I think I just didn't like the ending, but I actively could not tell you what happened at the end. Like, I can't tell you what happened at the end of this, but it's following our main character, who is a teacher at this university. And like I said, she has some sort of like history that we don't know about, but it's led to her targeting these predator men and dealing with them in her own way. But we end up having a investigation that happens. So it's kind of it's taking place in the past, in the situation that happens in the past, and the current day, her trying to like hide from this investigation, but also like be involved in it. Can't remember what happened at the end, so I can't 100% say that I didn't like the ending, but I'm pretty sure I didn't like the ending. All right, we're moving on to 4 stars because I actually did not have any 3 stars. This one's like 3.5, 4 star borderline, but I ended up reading Strange Pictures. This was actually super fun. We had a live show on Kitty Colson's Patreon, and we were on live for, I think it was like 12 hours. I think it was 12 hours reading this book all together. So we tabbed it at certain places. We would go and read for about an hour that section, come back and discuss that section and kind of our theories and stuff, and then go and read more. And it was so much fun. It was just way too long. Like, it was way too long. So I think we're doing next month, we were doing the same thing with Bunny, which I did just read, but I probably will read again. That is actually the book. I think I said it. That's the book that I finished on August 1st. That's not included in this. But we're reading Bunny again, but we're going to break it up into 3 days instead of 1 day to read everything, which is crazy. If you don't know anything about these are so cool. I actually have this one as well to talk about next, so I won't talk about it like too much. I guess I can talk about them together because this was, I would say this was a 3.5 or 3.75 and this was a 4 star, which most people were the opposite. Most people like Strange Pictures more than Strange Houses, but I really liked Strange Houses. So anyway, these are Japanese translated chilling mysteries. Is that what it says? The Chilling Japanese Mystery Sensation. And this is by this really weird online guy called Uketsu. And this is what he looks like. Like, that is what he looks like. That's the scary version of the picture. This one cracks me up. The one in Strange Pictures is so funny. It looks so funny. I love it. But anyway, the point of these is that it is literally what it says. It is a mystery. And in Strange Pictures, there's literally pictures. And you're trying to tell, like, what is going on. Like, what is going on in this? You're given a picture, and there's pictures later in the book. And most of the pictures, there's something wrong with them, or there's something that you can do with the picture that will like tell you a story. And it's like multiple cases, but they all end up coming together to mean one thing, and that's how you solve it. And so the main solving guy, Kurihara, he is basically kind of like a Sherlock-esque character, and he does make like leaps in logic. So if that type of stuff bothers you, I definitely would not read this, because it definitely bothered some people, because he'll say something and you're like, how the heck did you figure that out? So it's very Sherlock, where it's like, oh, this tiny thing that you would never figure out, but they did. Very Sherlock-esque. So I enjoyed both of these. So this was the picture version. and this is the house version, and I just like floor plans better, and I just think this one was a lot creepier, and I understood the logic in this one a little bit more. So it gives you this layout, and the whole story is like surrounding about this layout and what's weird about it, and I love that. I think that is so cool. So these are really fun. I do recommend reading these with people. Like, I think this is a really good book club pick, like in-person book club pick especially, or if you do it over like Zoom. This is so fun. I would recommend this in that type of situation. And then the very last book that I read this month, I gave it a 4-star, which I think I've given pretty much all of them 4-star. Well, I guess this is only the second one. We're currently reading the third one. I love these books. There always is just one thing that makes me like not give it a 5-star, but I talked about it with somebody, and somebody made this comment. I'm rating the books 4 stars, but it's a 5-star series, and I know that doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense in my brain, and it made sense to this other person as well when they said it. So it just kind of clicked with me, and that's what it is so far. This is the second book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series I'm listening with my husband. I definitely would recommend the audiobook if you don't know anything about this series, which would be crazy, by the way. I feel like everybody is talking about it. It is following our main characters, Carl and Princess Donut. Princess Donut is a cat, and they end up surviving this apocalypse situation, and they get shuffled down into this dungeon, and it's run by this like alien race, and it's so funny. It is heart-wrenching, it is character-driven, but there's also so much action, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, it's really good, and I am really excited to see where they go from here. Obviously, I can't really talk about this, but this is the second book, and it follows directly from the first book, which I think is really cool. So anyway, that is everything that I read in July. So we are going to move on to hopefully reading in August. I almost said July again. But anyway, oh man, I'm behind on everything. You guys know that. So I really want to work on the fairy loot video. I really want to work on that. So we're hopefully going to be working on that, and yeah, I'm so behind on those videos. So I really want to get back into doing my purge videos. They just take a lot of energy, and I don't have that much energy right now to give. So we'll see what happens. But again, the hope, fingers crossed, is that we get a fairy loot video at the end of this month. I also, because it's a problem, because I'm doing this series, reading all the book box books in the month, those 2 series just take up so much time, because there's so many books that it's hard to do both, especially when I have a lot of books. And I have a lot of books that came in June that I still haven't touched. So August hopeful reads will be these June book picks. So we have The Incandescent, A Forgery of Fate. We have, I think, Air of Storms, A Treachery of Swans, and there might be one more. I don't know if that's another one that I need. Love and Focus. Love and Focus is the other one. That's the Afterlight. So those are kind of the hopefuls that I really do need to read. And then I also am behind on our book club pick, but I feel like I'm going to be able to read this in like a day or 2. It's a mystery thriller. I don't think it'll take that long, but this is our July pick. Really need to get to this. really need to get to this. And then January, February, March, April. Yeah, we're in August. So August is The Night and the Moth, which I'm guessing is going to be at the beginning of September, because that's how the book club is right now. So not too worried about book club stuff, because I did catch up a little bit with Bare Bones and Midnight Soil, and again, this shouldn't take that long, so fingers crossed that doesn't take very long. So other books that I would like to get to. So I've already started this one, Terror at the Gates. I really want to read this. This is also for the video that Bunny is in. I'm really excited about that video, so we're working on that. And it's kind of mood reading a little bit, because it's stuff like I got lucky with the video that this is stuff I already wanted to read, so that's really exciting. So Terror at the Gates, this is the Lilith, the new Scarlet St. Clair that's following Lilith, and it's really good so far. The writing, really bad. The actual storyline, really good. It's kind of like, it's so addicting. Like, the book is so addicting. I may be reading Bunny again, depending on if I actually do fully commit myself to doing those videos or that Patreon stuff. I don't know if I am, but I'll at least be there to discuss the section. So I don't know if I'll reread it, but it might be like a skim. Then I really want to read this. Like, I've been dying to read a Richard Kadrey since I read The Dead Take the A Train, and that was a Cassandra Caw and Richard Kadrey book combined together. So I figured I would actually check out a Richard Kadrey like on its own, and this is like his newer release, and it looks so cool. Like, it's like haunted house kind of story, investigating, and that sounds right up my alley. Then we have Come Closer. I have already started this and I'm tabbing it. I'm actually reading this because Katie was really interested in this one, and so I think I'm sending it to Amy first, and then Amy is going to also annotate it and then send it to Katie, and then she'll have both of our notes on the book, and that would be really exciting to see what she thinks. And then, yeah, I'm excited to see, because this is weird so far. Like, this is a really, really weird book. But my favorite thing is that it literally opened up with a quiz saying, are you possessed? Like, that is the first page of this book, is a quiz if you are possessed or not. Which I was like, oh, we're going in. We're going in immediately. But it's really short, and it's basically following this woman who seemingly has become possessed, but we don't know what, like, when she was, if it's this new house she's living in, and what's happening. And it's wild. It is very wild so far. And then the very last thing that I have also started House of Beth. I'm reading this with Amy as a buddy read, because otherwise I don't know if I would get through it. She got behind, and now she's ahead of me, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened. But this is following a woman whose life is kind of falling apart. Like, she has a lot of problems, and she's dealing with, like, this voice inside of her head. And she ends up going back to, like, her hometown, and she reconnects with one of her best friends as a kid, but a lot has changed since then. It's been many, many years. And she ends up, I think, moving in or dealing with the ghost. You don't actually know, I don't think. Like, we haven't even met it yet. It's just part of the synopsis, where she moves into the house and she starts hearing things, but we don't know if it's her hearing things or there's actual things that are going on, like haunted house situation. So that's that. I also am trying to get through a bunch of arcs. I don't have my computer with me, but I have so many arcs that I need to get through. So I'm hoping to get through a bunch of those. The Enchanted Greenhouse, like, I really need to catch up with my arcs up to August, because I got sick. I caught up to May, and then I got sick. I had a huge flare up, you guys know, and I'm still in that flare up. We don't know at this point. Like, it's long for a flare up, so we don't know if this is just like a new thing that's just gonna stick around for a while until we figure things out. No idea. But because of that, I stopped reading generally. You guys, again, I'm not telling you anything new unless you're new here. But I stopped reading, so I got way behind on my arcs, and then I got approved for a bunch, and I was like, oh shoot, because I was doing so well. Like, my ratio was at like 82% or something like that. I was caught up with May, and then this slapped me in the face, and I am behind on like all my June arcs, all my July arcs, and we're moving into August, which I think I have quite a few for August as well. So we're gonna try to read a bunch of those this month. So there are just like so many things that I want to read, but we'll see what we get through, because again, really not reading that much. So we're just gonna see. I'm not gonna put that much pressure on myself. These TBRs are just kind of to help me organize my thoughts, because sometimes I can get overwhelmed with how much I'm trying to do. So this kind of gives me an idea of what I should prioritize, and also what my brain wants to prioritize, because sometimes it's, well, the Fairy Loot videos would be the most important to come out, but they're the ones I don't really want to do, and I don't want to push my brain to do something it's not ready to do, especially when it's kind of incredibly fragile right now. So I think we're definitely going to be reading Terror at the Gates. That's what I'm reading right now. And I think we're just going to have a fun time with it. So hopefully we get through some cool stuff in August. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. But again, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I am not going to give myself a hard time over this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe so you miss any future content. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know down below what you read in July and what you plan to read in August. I love reading. If I don't immediately respond to comments, just know I do read all of them. I just sometimes do not respond right away. And sometimes I'll forget to respond and see a video from like multiple weeks ago that I was like, oh, I read all of these and did not respond. So I read them all. Sometimes I just forget to respond. So I love hearing your comments. Let's leave let's leave a bunny emoji, just because that's like what's on my brain right now. So any type of rabbit or bunny emoji, leave that in the comments down below if you have nothing else that you want to say and just want to let me know that you're here. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.